like, subscribe, and share. The Ghost of the Liverpool Captain. In Liverpool, a bustling port city on England's northwest coast, sailors and ships have come and gone for centuries, each voyage full of adventure and risk. Many captains have set sail from these docks, steering their vessels through stormy seas, chasing fortune, and fighting against the relentless power of the ocean. But not every voyage ends with safe harbors. One of the most chilling tales from Liverpool's past is the legend of the ghost of the Liverpool Captain. This story dates back to the 19th century, when Liverpool was one of the busiest ports in the world. Ships departed daily, crossing the Atlantic to the New World, yet, for all the prosperity that came with these voyages, many sailors never returned, lost to storms, shipwrecks, or mysterious disappearances. At the center of this tale is Captain James McFarlane, a well-respected and experienced seaman who had earned his captaincy at the young age of 20. James was known for his discipline and bravery, having navigated treacherous seas to safely deliver valuable cargoes across the globe. His crew admired him, believing him to be one of the most fearless captains in the business. But James harbored a deep secret of fear that gnawed at him from within. Despite his successes at sea, he was haunted by his family's tragic history. The McFarlane family had been sailors for generations, but every generation seemed cursed by the sea. Both his father and grandfather had vanished during their voyages, their ships swallowed by violent storms, never to be seen again. Despite his fear, James pressed on, determined to break the family curse. The story takes a dark turn during what would become James's final voyage. He had been hired to transport a valuable cargo to America, a journey he had made many times before, but days before he was set to depart, he received an unsettling letter. The note, and signed and written in shaky handwriting, warned him not to set sail, claiming that the sea would bring him to a terrible fate. James dismissed the warning as a prank or perhaps a rival's attempt to sabotage his mission. However, as the day of departure drew nearer, an uneasy feeling settled over him. He began having vivid nightmares of being lost at sea, surrounded by dark, black waters. In his dreams, his ship would capsize, and as he reached out for help, the ocean would swallow him whole, dragging him into the depths. Despite the growing fear gnawing at his soul, James decided to continue with the voyage. His crew had no idea of the inner turmoil their captain was experiencing. They saw him as calm and confident, ready for another routine journey across the Atlantic. As the ship departed from Liverpool's docks, the weather was perfect, with clear skies and a gentle breeze guiding them out to sea. For the first few days, the voyage went smoothly. The ship sailed steadily across the Atlantic, and there were no signs of trouble. But on the fourth day, the weather took a sudden, violent turn. Dark clouds rolled in, and the wind howled as the waves grew higher and higher. James rushed to the deck, shouting orders to his crew, but the storm was unlike anything he had ever faced. As the ship battled the raging seas, James heard something strange, a voice, distant and low, as though it was coming from beneath the waves. It called to him, drawing him toward the edge of the ship. Looking out over the churning waters, James saw a horrifying sight. An old, ghostly ship emerging from the mist, its sails torn and tattered, its hull covered in barnacles and seaweed. A chill ran down James's spine as he realized what he was seeing. It was his father's ship, the very vessel that had vanished years ago in a violent storm. The ghostly ship floated silently on the waves, and as it came closer, James could make out shadowy figures on its deck. Frozen in terror, James stared at the ghost ship. He knew he should turn away, but he couldn't. An invisible force seemed to pull him toward the phantom vessel. As it drew nearer, the fog thickened, wrapping around both ships like a shroud. His crew, sensing something was wrong, watched in horror as their captain stood transfixed at the edge of the ship. The ghost ship came alongside, its deck lined with shadowy figures that James recognized all too well. They were his long-lost family, his father, his uncles, their faces pale and haunting. They reached out toward him, their expressions frozen in a ghastly smile. "Come with us, James, join us." The voice whispered again. This time it was unmistakable. It was the voice of his father, calling him home. James felt his body moving on its own, stepping closer to the ship's edge. He could feel the cold mist on his face, the sea spray on his skin. Just as he was about to reach out, a massive wave crashed against his ship, knocking him to the deck. When James woke up, the storm had passed, and the sea was calm once again. The ghost ship was gone, leaving no trace behind. His crew, shaken but unharmed, had no memory of seeing the phantom vessel. They only remembered the fierce storm and the strange, eerie feeling that had descended over the ship. Though he had survived the storm, James knew that the curse was real. He had seen the ghost ship with his own eyes, and the dead were waiting for him. His fate was sealed. When the ship finally reached America, James refused to return to the sea. He sold his ship and settled on land, trying to escape the pull of the ocean. But no matter where he went, he could still hear the call of the ghost ship in his dreams. Every night the whispers grew louder, the pull of the sea stronger. Years later, James was found dead in a small inn in Liverpool. His face was twisted in terror, his eyes wide open, as though he had seen something unspeakably horrifying in his final moments. Witnesses claim that in the hours before his death, James had been mumbling to himself, saying, "They've come for me, they're here." After James's death, rumors began to spread about his ghost haunting the Liverpool docks. Sailors preparing to set sail would sometimes see a shadowy figure standing at the water's edge, wearing a captain's uniform and holding an old, weathered map. It was said to be the ghost of Captain James McFarlane, still searching for a way to break the curse that had doomed his family. According to the legend, his spirit is bound to the docks, unable to find peace until he returns to the ghost ship that once called to him from the depths. Sailors believe that seeing the captain's ghost before a voyage is a bad omen, a warning that disaster awaits them at sea. And so, the ghost of the Liverpool Captain remains a part of the city's haunted history. His story serves as a reminder that some curses are too powerful to escape, and that the sea, with all its mysteries, never forgets.